Here's one thing in longevity for April 12th, 2026. You may have been saddened to learn that the world's oldest land animal, Jonathan the tortoise, reportedly died last week. Except he didn't. Turns out the whole thing was a hoax. A fake social media account, a made-up announcement, and because it's 2026, an attempt to get people to send crypto. Jonathan, meanwhile, is still alive and well, at 193 years old, which means he was born before Darwin published On the Origin of Species and has outlived, well, pretty much everything. And honestly, that's the more interesting story here, because animals like Jonathan aren't just fun trivia, they're biological outliers that can teach us important lessons about aging. Giant tortoises live extraordinarily long lives, and they don't just survive, they tend to avoid many of the chronic diseases that take us out. So what's going on? There are a few things we think matter. First, they have slower metabolisms, which likely reduces cumulative cellular damage. They also seem to have enhanced mechanisms for maintaining protein and DNA integrity. And like other long-lived species, they've evolved better cancer-resistant systems. In other words, they're not just living longer, they're aging biologically much more slowly. And that's the key idea in longevity science. We're not trying to become immortal tortoises, but we are trying to understand the biology that allows some species to dramatically slow the aging process. So while the internet briefly mourned Jonathan, he was still out there, doing what he's been doing for nearly 2 centuries, quietly reminding us that biological aging is much more malleable than we might think. And that's one thing in longevity for April 12th, 2026.